I've got some good news and some bad news for you on a progressive priority, or at least like sort of a scaled down, shriveled up version of a progressive priority. And that is free public community college. Okay, only 2 years of it, but good news, bad news. The good news is, did you know they were still working on that? The bad news is they're not anymore. So yay, Jill Biden, who was apparently shepherding this over the last year or so. News for me, I guess I should have been paying more attention. Just recently said, 1 year ago, I told this group that Joe, my husband Joe, was going to fight for community colleges. But Joe has also had to make compromises. Congress hasn't passed the Build Back Better legislation yet. And free community college is no longer a part of that package. We knew this wouldn't be easy. Still, like you, I was disappointed. Because like you, these aren't just bills or budgets to you, right? We know what they mean for real people, for our students, our screwed students. She then says it was a real lesson in human nature that some people just don't get that. So yeah, no, they had been working on it. The bill would have originally committed $45.5 billion to waive 2 years of tuition at community colleges for 5 years. States would have to opt in, federal government would cover the cost of the program for the first year, and then the federal contribution would decrease 5% each year after that. So that is $45.5 billion to fund 2 years of college for 5 years, which works out to less than $10 billion in funding per year, which is like what? What percentage of our military budget is that?
Yeah.
Nope, sorry. It's a real lesson in human nature though, Francesca. And isn't that at the end of the day more important than college?
It's amazing, like that we're upset about the crumb not passing, but like the crumb, just a little bitty crumb. I feel like a small mouse just sort of sidling up to a small crumb and very excitedly like, okay, this is not as big of a crumb as I wanted, but pretty good. And then just a gust of wind blows and it's gone. And somehow I'm sad, but I didn't even want the crumb because it wasn't really gonna fill me in the first place. Anyway, I'm feeling weird. But the reality is it's not only bad enough that here's what I'll say. It's very clear that the reason that tuition-free community college, at least for 2 years, for only 2 years, for 5 years in total, right? As you said, a fraction of the military budget, annual military budget. It's so clear why it failed because you hear the tone of the person who was fighting for it, which is, man, I really learned a lot about human nature, says Jill Biden, not, I am livid that the people, that the decision makers behind this, that we couldn't get on board with something so basic, something so simple and fundamental as the right to an education, the right to not be indebted to receive that education. We are going to keep trying, we are going to keep pushing. This is unacceptable. That's the attitude. But no, if your concession was already, man, we just didn't see eye to eye, then clearly you never were fighting for it in the first place.
Yeah, and look, Jill Biden is, I guess, the impetus for this news. I don't know how mad we should be about her. I mean, you can read things like this. She spent her first year visiting community colleges, but did not campaign for the support of Democratic senators and House members who wanted to pare back or eliminate the provision outright. Well, okay, then that seems a little bit short-sighted, but I don't know, how mad should we be with her? Do we think that if she'd had lunch with Kyrsten Sinema, then surely it would have passed? No, probably not. It probably had no chance whatsoever. But I would say, like, I do think that some of these senators are mostly out of phase with any sort of reality of consequences. Like, you could try to hit them with attack ads, but it doesn't really matter if they have no intention of running again, or if they'd be perfectly happy joining like the board of Walmart or something. But I don't know. I like traditions. Why not do it anyway? Like, are there ads being run in West Virginia? Like, hey, did you consider going to college and now you can't afford it? Well, you could have, but Joe Manchin didn't think it was worth it. Like, is he going to be hit by any of the loss of what could have been? Is Sinema? I mean, people hate Sinema, I get that, but are all these ads being made? Could Jill Biden have said something? Maybe. I know Joe can't. He has no power. He's only the president of the free world. But maybe the first lady could have said something, a speech, where they identify the people that killed this almost single-handedly. I don't know.
I don't even know what's left in the bill. Like, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. It's been stripped for parts. I'm pretty sure the only thing that's left is Joe Manchin gets another like coal mine or something, or like he gets to drill like in the White House. I don't know like what's left of this.
I don't know. Well, how about this? Democrats are still exploring expanding tuition assistance for low and middle income students. What's the crumb of a crumb? It was already almost no money. It was basically free. You know, I looked it up just out of curiosity. You all are familiar with the F-35. Lifetime cost that program $1.6 trillion. It would be the paint on the F-35, so the kids could at least go to 2 years of community college, which, by the way, is not impressive. That was not going to be this major win. We would still be the laughing stock of the advanced world. We're not getting that.
Oh, it's bad.
But they're considering tuition assistance. Yeah, how are they gonna pass it through the filibuster? You think Republicans are gonna, the Republicans are gonna support that? Is that gonna be the one thing they can do via reconciliation? Get out of here.
The last thing I'll say is I found it very funny. I think Vice President Harris a few weeks ago had a tweet that was like, I am proud to announce that I will be relieving student debt for, and I was like, what? Pell Grant recipients who are more than $20,000 in debt, who began a small business in a Black or brown underserved community and have at least 3 years in that business. And it was like, what the hell? Like, this is the most qualified, like merit-based piece of legislation that you're trying to trot out and be proud of.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.